Hello, you've reached Hacked Games. My name is Jeremy, and this is episode 7 of our Reformed Fiend playthrough of Pathfinder. Last episode, we took care of Ancient Trees and Wonders. We ran around a bit in Market Square, picking up the last companion, Ember, or to have a full companion list, the last one. We will be picking up more companions as we continue along in the storyline. We are currently working on resolving or being the middleman in a resolution between Ramian and Holorun here. We are going to finish that, and then we are also going to go in search of Janna Eldori before we leave Market Square here. But after we do those two things, we will be heading for the Potaxian Wine Cellar. So let's finish our conversation with Ramian. I had noticed at the end of the last episode that we had actually gone way over, so I tried to skim through the portions that I could really quickly in order to capture that for the end of that video. I'm not going to run. Kill me if you wish, but I ask you, hear me out first. Did you really know about the demon attack before it happened? I did. We have a secret ally in the enemy's ranks. No one knows who this brave soul is, but she has been feeding us information about the demon's plans. These dispatches have come to us by the most reliable channel bestowed upon us by the great dreamer herself. They have come to us in dreams. Prelate Holorun brushed them off as meaningless reveries, and, well, I admit that it isn't always easy to distinguish our allies' messages from ordinary dreams. But even ordinary dreams are gifts from Desna, and are always worthy of attention. The prelate, and the crusade leaders for that matter, should have put less store in reason and more in intuition, inspiration, and spontaneity. What's more, not long before the attack on the city, a blind elf who calls himself the Storyteller arrived in Canabris. This wanderer wasn't merely a collector of legends, but a scholar of the unknown. According to him, the wardstone in our city, the first and most important in the chain of wardstones, weakened since long ago, was teetering on the brink of corruption. It seems that the Red Morning Massacre and other demon attacks, even the ones we fended off, did not leave us unscathed. Unfortunately, the prelate did not wish to listen to the storyteller either. We're lucky he wasn't burnt at the stake as a heretic. We had such vital information on our hands, information that could have saved the city, but no one cared to listen, all the way to the catastrophic end. Why haven't you left this place for somewhere safer? Because people might need help, and they will come to the temple in search of a priest. I will not hide away in a hole, saving my own neck, while Canabris is full of people suffering in the wake of Demon's attack. Not all dreams have benign origins. What if those dreams were sent by demons? In a different time and place, someone perhaps could have become the victim of false dreams sent by monsters. But here, in the war with the Abyss, the goddess is keeping a close eye on her most faithful followers. I have no doubt that if a demon tried to intrude upon the dreams of any of us, Desna's punishment would have been swift. Tell me about the strange rituals that were going to be performed on the wardstone. When my attempts to open Holorun's eyes ended in failure, a few of my young adepts resolved to take matters into their own hands. They did not consult me before doing so, but I have never demanded iron discipline from my priests. Army commanders may have subordinates, but I have pupils and fellow worshippers. I can only inspire them. I cannot command them. And it seems that they were inspired all on their own. In other words, you get to preach whatever you want, and you don't have to take any responsibility for your flock. You've really got it made. For pity's sake, how can I be held responsible for the actions of others? These are not children we're discussing here. They are grown adults, endowed with their own free will, praise the goddess. Of course, we all help one another, but in the final reckoning, each of us decides how we will act, and each must answer for those choices. They had no ill intent. They only wished to access the wardstone in secret and try to cleanse it. But to Holorun, this became perform a suspect ritual after hearing even more suspect voices in their dreams. The children wanted to save their city, but the Inquisitors detained them and almost killed them. I had to intervene. I used my authority and power as a cleric to give them a chance to flee. If they hadn't gotten away, they were destined for a cell in the Prelate's dungeons, and quite likely death. Why are you and Holorun feuding? Oh, I'm not feuding with Holm. I sincerely wish only the best for the man. In an ideal world, he'd be far away from the front lines, enjoying a peaceful retirement. But even if that isn't possible, I've always tried to help him fulfill the mission he has taken upon himself, and to which he has proven fatally ill-suited. protecting Canabras against demons. Unfortunately, he is convinced that the followers of Desna are heretics and saboteurs. He refuses to listen to me, and it was only the nightly orders that deterred him from including us in the witch hunt. Now there is clearly no one left to stand in his way. He is finally free to get rid of us once and for all. Is there a chance you can resolve your conflict? I don't know if Holren's faith is truly formidable, not only his faith in Iomade, but in his own infallibility. In other words, he's as hard-headed as a rock troll. But even so, Desna teaches us to never lose hope. Talk to him. Try to explain that we are fighting on the same side. If he attacks you, disarm him. Bind his hands. But I beg you, if at all possible, please do not kill him. Alright, I have to go. We'll get that sorted out. If there is anything else you can do to save Canabras, please do it. So, we are going to run down here in order to chat with Holren real quick. And we actually probably want to be... Oh, I almost ran us past him. We want to be about right here. Let's take another quick look. So, we've got about 1,100 experience that we needed. This is actually going to net us about 400 of that 11. Well, what brings you to me? I talked to Ramian. He is not your enemy. He only wants what's good for Canabras. I would consider those words an admission of treason from anyone else, but I don't wish to draw my weapon against she who has been given heaven's gift. And I won't, as long as you don't do anything worse than conniving with that rabble-rouser Ramian. Gained 400 experience. I won't ask you again to kill the rabble-rouser, but as soon as we liberate the city from the demons, my faithful will hunt him down. I have to go. Go on, go, and keep your head down. So at this point, you could technically convince Holren to join you in the Common Cause case, but we can also convince Ramian to join us in that, and I would prefer to have Ramian. You can only have one or the other. So we are going to go convince him to lead the faithful of Desna back to Erebeth. I'm not going to run, kill me if you wish, but I ask you, hear me out first. I managed to calm Holren down a little, but he's still hell-bent on driving you out of the city once the demon attack has been repelled. I suppose I should be pleased, but the idiocy, the injustice of it all, it makes my blood boil. I will leave Canabras, but not before we fight off the demons, no matter what happens. I thank you. Erebeth Tirabade of the Eagle Watch is gathering survivors in the Defender's Heart Tavern. You would be very useful there. Commander Tirabade? I do not know her personally, but her wife, Anevia, is a regular worshiper at her temple. I'd be glad to aid them in this fight. I have to go. Thank you for listening to me and defending me. I will now go to the Defender's Heart. I hope to see you there. May Desna keep you. Alright. Here's probably the most important thing. We've adopted Tiger. So Tiger is going to give us a +2 morale bonus on perception and lore nature checks. Let's see who could most benefit from that. Let's see. Oh, not her. We already have one. She has fairly decent perception. He also does, but I think we have the owl cat on him, don't we? It's... he's got 7, she's got 5. She also had 7, right? Yes. So let's go ahead and put Tiger on her for now.
Well?
And go ahead and get him pulled out here so he can run around with our other pets. And grab some other loot here. So now what we're going to do in order to find Jana is we're just going to head down this direction and head back up this way a little bit.
I'm gone.
There are some fights in this direction. The only person in this fight that we have to really be, I guess, cognizant of. There's a wizard here and there's a Vermlek somewhere up here who's going to cast cause wounds mass, or inflict wounds mass on us. So we want to get in melee range of both of those individuals. First off, we're going to have Ember just go ahead and try to slumber that wizard, and we're going to send us up over to the side here in order to try to get around. And where's our dog? I think we'll send our dog a little bit this way to kind of do the same thing, to see who can flank who. So it looks like we made it up here. We're going to charge the Vermlek. The dog, I don't think, is quite in the clear yet. What? Why is it... Oh, it's just telling us Ember is over there. That's fine. So the dog is gonna... We're gonna have the dog go after the wizard here. Oh, they knocked down Scruffy. Or Snuffles, I'm sorry. Oh, we took a lot of damage there from the inflict wounds mass. We're going to have... Oh, we're actually going to go ahead and... Let's see, -9. Who can we get back up? Oh, our elephant is dead. That's fine. There aren't really any more fights in this section, and we're dead. I guess I'm gonna load that back up here. Alright, we're gonna cast a couple buffs on our people because the last attempt didn't really work out, so we'll make us bigger. We will make Sela bigger. Toss out a bless on everybody. Give everybody extra hit points here.
Are we in trouble yet?
Let's see. We'll make Land's bow bigger.
As nicely.
Nothing really from him needed. Nothing really from her needed. And then we've got the old pets there.
We will win this war.
Oh, I guess we could... We'll give us a little extra damage, too, from Precise Strike here. And those are all standard actions, so they're kind of being done instead of taking an attack if we wait until after combat to do them, so it is best to get them out of the way.
I won't let you hurt my friends.
Alright. So you can see we kind of blew through everybody now at the front there, which obviously did not happen the last time we did this. Oh, no, I want everybody to come back here. So we've got one wizard, I guess, back there, who's probably going to cast Magic Missile on us, which is fine. He's now taken care of. And that's that for that fight. Let's see, we've got 80%. We'll go ahead and take that. That's fine.
This one was beyond me.
There's a very low chance that we jam
Am
this.
I not?
You don't have great nature, so this is going to be a rough check.
Thanks, Lan.
Oh, we got
You're
it,
so
though.
Awesome, Lan.
Again, this one is going across. If you happen to fail this mobility check, you just die. The whole party is dead. So let's look at our pets real quick.
I like you.
Great, Ember.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead and get our pets
Yes.
back in better shape here.
Yes.
That's probably good enough. Ember, we haven't done your bar yet, but I'm gonna put your point blank over here and turn it on. That just makes sure that they are in range to gain the benefit of point blank shot, which is the +1 to hit if you're within 30 yards. It might also be
Sun
damage.
is restless.
Let's take a look here.
I wonder why.
Oh, I guess we have to pop into there. actual class thing to take a look at. Oh, it's attack and damage. So we get an extra attack, an extra to hit, essentially, and an extra damage. Alright, Elfin, you pop up here. And we're going to have
Attack.
our big people
The
take out this ghoul here.
Guide my blade.
There we go. We're going to rob these bodies, and then we're going to accuse this guy of robbing these bodies. Well, well, look at what we have here. Looting corpses, are ya? What did you expect? Almost everyone's dead. The city now belongs to the demons and vermin, rats, crows, and creatures like this one. Oh, phew. I thought you were demons. Good day to you, good lady. Curl, is that you? Oh, Lady Sela, you're alive. Goodness me. That's the second bit of good news on an otherwise lousy day. What was the first bit of good news? Stick around and you'll see for yourself. Do you know this person, Sela? Meet Rimvi, better known as Curl. He hails from Canabris, and he fights in the Condemned. He is one of a kind, a rogue with a heart of gold. Curl, it's probably none of my business, but you should ask yourself if what you were about to do is right. I just thought... Oh, it doesn't matter. Can you tell me anything useful about what's going on in the city? I'm afraid not, good lady. I just left Defender's Heart. Before that, I was holed up in there, too scared to leave. Although spending all that time under Commander Irbeth's nose sure was something. She's a strict one, phew. And when she gets antsy... Don't even start. I've had enough of her breathing down my neck to last me a lifetime. So, what are you doing here, robbing corpses? No! Rimby Curl may be a rogue, but he doesn't loot corpses. I just need to get these poor lads' bodies off the road. My friends and I are on a terribly important mission, and we need to get through. He is interrupted by the sound of wheels rolling on the paving stones. A cart drawn by a sad little horse appears from around the corner. A pretty half-elf is driving it, and a young man in knight's armor is walking alongside. Even from a distance, we can see his tanned face and blue eyes shining brightly. See? A terribly important and very heroic mission. My friends and I are saving a beer cart from the demons. Sela, I never thought I'd see you again. I thought you were headed back to the main square, the center of the demons' attack. Hey, friend. Glad to see you're all right. When we got separated by the crowd at the celebration, I knew right away that something was wrong. And when the demons appeared all of a sudden, I realized that was the reason why I'd been so anxious. But I couldn't find you among the dead in the square, so I kept my hopes up, and I was proved right. So you're the other bit of good news Curl was talking about. You and Jana are alive. Actually, by good news, I meant we found the beer cart. Sir Elin and Jana being alive amounts to a quarter of a bit of good news. Well, maybe half. Aren't there more important things to do in the city than saving other people's property? You're absolutely right. I only agreed to help get the cart to the Defender's Heart because we found it just a stone's throw away. But as soon as we deliver the cart, I'll get back to searching for survivors. By the way, my name is Elin, Sir Elin of the Houndhearts. I'm glad to meet someone who survived this madness. You haven't told me how you know Sela. I'll save that story till we're back at Defender's Heart. You're going back there, aren't you? We'll have a reason to toast our spoils. Alright, I have to go. So long. We're sure to meet again, either in the city or at Defender's Heart. Sure you will. Come to the tavern. We'll celebrate the valiant rescue of this barrel together. So we've got that one squared away. That is all we're going to do here for now in Market Square, and that puts us 254 experience shy of our level. We are almost guaranteed to hit Nenio on our way up to the Potaxian. If that happens, you can just click on the exit again and you'll take off to the Potaxian Wine Cellar. So we're going to be picking up some more weight. So at this time, I'm not going to grab any of the armor that we dropped on the ground. I'm going to keep the armor that we currently have, though. Alright, so the Potaxian Wine Cellar is the furthest north thing. Oh, I guess the Thiefling Hideout is a bit further north, but the furthest northwest thing. Maybe that's the way to put it. And then after we finish this, we'll actually head back to the Blackwing Library. And from the Blackwing Library, there is an event that teleports us straight to Defender's Heart. So we're off to the Wine Cellar here. See what's going on in that basement. And here's there's someone on the road, get ready. This is either Nenio's encounter or news that Defender's Heart is under assault. Because of the timing, I can guarantee it's Nenio's encounter. There are some really good items over here. There's three different perception checks that you need to make in order to find them all. But we'll see how we do on those. We're not going to save it and save scum this if we can't find stuff.
Can't hide from me.
Alright, we found everything. The long sword of detriment and a decent amount of money and some healing and inflicting potions. So in this case, we're actually going to pop into Sela's inventory here. We currently have her holding on to Radiance. This longsword is actually, oh, that's the claw. This longsword is actually currently better than Radiance. So we'll have her hold on to that for now, just in case we need to grab her a shield and get her back into sword and board. I have to remember that I need to pick up a shield for her. I probably should have grabbed one. We left one on the ground back there in Market Square, but that'll be fine. So, here we go into the Nenio portion of this encounter.
Wearing a robe? Check. Baphomet symbol around the neck? Check. Crazy eyes? Check. Note to self. Bring a mirror next time to be able to adjust the optimal level of eye craziness. Everything is ready for the experiment. An audience. Problematic but not critical. You there, girl. Stay out of this. It is counterproductive to stand in the way of scientific progress.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Who's that? I don't know her.
Greetings, boys and girls. I am your sister in sin, a devotee of Lord Baphomet's dark will, and so on and so forth.
She looks like one of us, but she talks kinda weird. Who's there with you?
Who? Oh, them. Just an audience. They don't matter. Consider them a supplementary component of the coming experiment.
We're just gonna shrug and remain silent because we have no idea what's going on.
In the name of our Lord Baphomet, please be so kind as to undertake a little test of your competency in our wicked cause. Let's start with something simple. So here's my first question. What is Lord Baphomet's favorite weapon?
We will not answer to you.
Our lord can wield any kind of weapon. He is all-powerful.
Wrong. He wields no weapons at all. He doesn't need any. He just gores his enemies with his horns.
And we've passed a lore religion check. Actually, it's Isergal, a glaive made of red adamantine, which we should know just from reading the book earlier, because that was in the book that gave us the bonus to using glaives.
That is correct. But still, girl, no prompting, please. This experiment has taken quite a surprising turn. I would never have expected the followers of the great Baphomet to be baffled by such a simple question. Fine. Let's recalibrate the difficulty and proceed with the next question. Please name Lord Baphomet's sacred animal.
A bull! Of course, everybody knows that.
Yep. And a cow.
We have passed our lore religion check again. It's an aurochs, as a matter of fact.
I'd like to ask you to stop prompting them, but it seems they could do with a prompt or two. It appears the experiment has yielded results which are as unexpected as they are incredible. Baphomet's cultists have not the slightest idea about who Baphomet really is, let alone any in-depth knowledge of his ideology or philosophy. I'm positive that this news will cause a sensation in widest scientific circles.
Damn it. She's right. I'm a shitty excuse for a cultist. And my mother used to tell me to become a plowman.
Hey, take it easy. We've only had 2 questions. You there, come on, ask another one. We'll get the next one.
Ask them some more. They might still manage it.
Is there any sense in continuing? You cannot answer the simplest of questions. I am ashamed of all of you, as cultists and as individuals.
Please, ask again. I can answer. I'm sure I can.
How do you spell Baphomet's name?
B-A-F... Oh, screw it. To hell with Baphomet. I thought it was gonna be fun, but instead there are all these questions. I'm done here. I'm going back to my home village, back to my mother.
Hey, wait! You there! How dare you stir up discord in our ranks? Grab her and tie her up, and her entire entourage too!
So if you really want to kill all of the guys, you can technically click through this piece of conversation really quick, as long as the other cultist hasn't disappeared off the north edge of the map. He will still be involved in the fight that's coming up here.
The experiment is complete. Unable to deal with the questions, the cultists decide to deal with the examiner instead. A typical reaction for a person who has never been burdened with any intelligence. Now you're gonna start hitting each other, aren't you? Please, proceed. I won't interrupt.
Be careful, everyone.
Alright, so let's take a little look here. I think we'll have Ember go ahead and try to slumber this cultist right at the front. We're going to have Sela charge this archer, and Woljif will just run at the archer.
All right?
We're going to have the elephant go this direction, actually, and we'll have the dog come around over here. So the dog will grab whoever, either the fighter or the archer, and then we'll try to get the sharpshooter after that. So, we didn't get the slumber off, or it didn't work, he saved against it, but since Sela hit people, everyone's feared and kind of running away. This is kind of why the Marching Terror glaive that you get right from Sela is probably the best weapon you're going to find out of any weapons, at least all the way through Act 1. And I would say it's definitely a usable weapon for a good portion of Act 2. Well, I guess I don't know that much about Act 2, but I'm thinking it's going to be a good weapon to use. The ability that you get with it is very solid. Sela, you need to go ahead and drop Healing Hands on yourself. Does anyone else really need anything? No, I don't think so. There we go.
The result is statistically predictable, especially considering their intelligence level. What about you, girl? Are you ready to answer some questions for the good of science? Let's proceed with the experiment. My first question is simple. Which colors does the goddess Iomedae prefer?
And we've succeeded, so we're convinced that the correct answer is red and white.
This answer is correct. It is comforting to meet at least one educated person in the melting pot of ignorance that is Canabras today. Let's proceed. Did Aradin take part in any crusade before he died?
We have succeeded another check there. We know that Aradin died not long before the World Wound opened and the First Crusade began, so he did not.
Your answer is correct. Aradin's death dates to 4606, and that is precisely the year when the World Wound was opened. The First Crusade started back in 4622. Your knowledge would make Mendev's Crusaders proud. My final question is, what is the title that Aurilu Vorlesh bears? Is she the architect of the World Wound, the Lord of the Labyrinth, or the Border Inquisitor of the Shapeless Abyss?
We've failed on this one. We do know that the Lord of the Labyrinth is actually Baphomet. I don't know who the Border Inquisitor of the Shapeless Abyss is, but I do know that Aurilu Vorlesh is the architect of the World Wound. She's the one that created it or caused it to open in the first place.
That's correct. Most excellent. You successfully answered all of my questions. Splendid. Amazing. This is a breakthrough. I thank you for your cooperation. It seems to me that I owe you an explanation. My name is Nenio. I am an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the great Encyclopedia Galarianica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. I also know several spells.
Now, can you finally tell me what you were getting at with all those questions?
It is so heartening to see you strive for knowledge. I have been conducting an experiment comparing the intellectual abilities of the average cultist with those of the average crusader. And I must admit that you passed the test with flying colors. This does offer a glimmer of hope for the future of Crusade. I have always claimed that despite the popular beliefs about the limited intellectual abilities of those in the army, at least some of them can be considered educated. It pleases me to see that I was correct.
So you're trying to say that I am mediocre?
Yes.
Why do you keep calling me girl? I have a name, you know.
I apologize for an injury to your ego, but your name is irrelevant on the grand scale of the universe. Thus, it cannot possibly interest me. I will forget it as soon as I hear it. To avoid unnecessary confusion, I'd prefer to not know it at all.
Well, Canabras isn't safe right now. Should we join forces?
Do you wish to become my follower? To accompany me on my expeditions to the World Wound? To assist me in my experiments? To run errands for me? Perhaps even to write down my deepest thoughts for the benefit of future generations? Oh, how splendid! Of course, I agree. Truth be told, I have no money to pay you. But you will be aiding the progress of science, and that is its own reward.
If we join forces, you'll have to follow my instructions during our expeditions.
Huh? What? Oh, yes, the dangers and these battles. Of course, I will follow your orders. I place my life in your capable hands, so I can focus on the things that really matter.
All right, I agree.
Excellent. You're hired. To think that I finally found someone to accompany me. 27 Crusaders before you said no. Not one of them saw the undeniable appeal of my offer. Your first assignment is to take me to a safe place. I have to admit that today's experiment has left me quite tired.
All right. We are not going to take Nenio with us at this time, just because we need Woljif for the Tiefling quest. We need Camellia in order to go do the Horror Squirm quest, and I don't really know that it makes sense to either switch Lan or Ember with her, and Sela obviously is not a good fit for a switch for her either. She is more of a control and damage type person, so she would swap best with Woljif or Camellia, technically, in our current layout. We did also level based on that, so we did level before we got to the Wine Cellar here, which is good for us because we do want at the Wine Cellar to take a rest and gather our spells back up. So in this way, we actually didn't rest at all since we've been at level 3. So the spells that we acquired at level 3, we've never actually been able to cast. But now, once we take the rest, we'll have both level 3 and level 4 spells available to us. And I'm not super concerned about Woljif learning spells from scrolls right now. I would rather have Nenio with me than in the long run. Before we get into leveling, actually, let's make a quick save of the game. We'll do a hard save of... one thing not level 2, level 4. One thing I have noticed is if you have more than one game going and you name your levels the same thing, it technically overwrites. So if you're naming it just level 2, level 3, level 4, if you name level 2, level 3, level 4 in a different character name, it will overwrite your previous save from this character name. So you're going to want to be a little bit more descriptive than just what level you're at when you're creating these saves at level up. And I would suggest making a hard save every time you level up, just in case you find something that as you're going you wish you had changed back at the level up process. You can retrain, but technically I don't like to do that. On this difficulty, you're not supposed to be able to retrain. The game still lets you do it, however. So in getting into our level up here, we are going to be taking our last level in Vivisectionist. The last level in Vivisectionist is going to give us another bite. It does give us another base attack bonus, so we're not getting further behind in our base attack bonus at this point. And we actually are getting some increased saving throws from what we would have received in Blood Rager at this time. Because we're at level 4, and every 4 levels going forward here, we receive an ability bonus, and we're going to put ours in strength. And we're just going to continue with... mobility is at where we want it to be at. So we're going to continue putting points in Knowledge Arcana until we hit 5, and we're just going to continue putting points in Perception and Persuasion until the end of the game. After Arcana hits 5, we're going to start putting points into World, because again, World is the one that we're going to use for making potions, and we are going to be making potions as soon as we gain access to the Mage Armor spell. So, the upgrade we want here is Feral Mutagen. Feral Mutagen gives us claw attacks, which we're not going to use, and a bite attack. We also get +2 competence on persuasion skill checks, along with the other benefits of the mutagen, which are additional strength, additional armor, and now that we have 2 levels of Alchemist, it will last for 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. It's still long enough relatively that you'll probably want to drink it right away at the front end of any map that you start, because the buff will last you through several encounters. And this doesn't really matter. We're not really going to be able to cast this ever. We'll pick True Strike, but again, our intelligence is never going to be such that we're going to be able to cast any of our Alchemist spell. So that puts us at 2 levels of Vivisectionist. We only have 1 level of Reformed Fiend still, and 1 level of Enlightened Philosopher. The next level up is going to be a level of Reformed Fiend. And then we'll kind of take a look at what we want to do. We can either level Reformed Fiend up until we have enough base attack bonus to get us 2 attacks, which is going to be 3 more levels after the next level up, so up to level 8. And then swap into Dragon Disciple, or we can swap into Dragon Disciple right away. The first level of Dragon Disciple is going to be the last level at which we lose a base attack bonus, because there is no base attack bonus for the first level of Dragon Disciple. There is for the other 3 that we'll be taking in there, so it's only the 1 additional base attack bonus that we'll be losing here going forward. For Ember, I feel the best way to level up Ember here is to kind of prep her to be an arcane trickster. She's going to get a bunch of fire magic. Her blackened curse does cause her to have a negative to hit with weapons, but not with spells. So she's not going to get a negative to hit on the ranged touch attacks for spells, and she already has point blank shot and precise shot. There are obviously other ways you could level her. You could just continue to kind of go through Stigmatized Witch. In this case, we are going to take 1 more level in Stigmatized Witch to hit 2, because you can see that we do need the ability to cast 2nd level spells in order to qualify for Arcane Trickster. After this, however, we'll be taking a level in Vivisectionist, which gets us a level in Sneak Attack, and then we'll be taking, for a feat, Accomplished Sneak Attacker, which gets us another level in Sneak Attack. So for her, we'll only take the 1 level in Vivisectionist, and then we'll pop back into Stigmatized Witch until we meet the criteria for the skill points for Arcane Trickster. And if you're optimizing Ember, you probably just want to put all the points you get directly into Charisma. Again, kind of discussed that it bugs me when I have odd ability points, so I'm not going to do that. I am going to be putting 3 points eventually into Charisma. However, this first point I'm actually going to put into Strength, just to get rid of this -1 modifier, and it offers us the ability to carry a bit more before we can't carry anymore. But it doesn't actually have any impact on any of the things that we'll be doing with Ember. So we've got 3 skill points. We know we need at least 1 more in Knowledge Arcana, and then we need 4 in Mobility and 4 in Trickery. So let's go ahead and just push some points into Mobility for now. We'll try to get the other 2, the first level of Vivisectionist that we level up here, and then we'll start plugging away at the points in Trickery. For her Hex for this level, I'm going to select Healing. Primarily, I want Ember's Hexes to be used as support, and specifically support out of battle, because we're going to be focusing on her casting Blaster spells, Raise, Chain Lightning, things of that sort. So she's not going to have time in the fight to also cast Hexes along with those, those spells that we're going to be doing damage with. Eventually we may get something like, Protective Luck and Cackle, because we can, in the first turn, or even before combat starts, cast Protective Luck and then start cackling, and then still open combat with a ray spell, and cast ray spells as long as we don't have to move in order to gain benefit from those. For our level 2 spells, so there is... Did we already get Scorching Ray? I believe Scorching Ray is a level 2 spell, but I'm not seeing it in our list. It might not actually be a witch spell. She is going to pick that up from her Blackened Curse, though, so that doesn't matter. What I am actually going to pick here is I'm going to pick Bone Shaker. Bone Shaker is a very good spell if you're not targeting undead or things that are immune to negative energy. It does require a Fortitude save, so it also gives her something to kind of play around with, because all of her ray spells will be reflex saves. So it gives her an option for things that have a very high reflex. It also doesn't require a 2-hit, so it's automatically going to hit, and the creature will just make a save for half. So it's doing damage as long as you pierce their spell resistance, regardless. And then Camellia, I guess like we discussed, with Camellia we're kind of going the way of chalking her up as a loss for this run. This is going to be her last Spirit Hunter level, and again, in the same way as Ember, if you're trying to optimize her, you probably want to put all of her points into Dexterity, but I'm going to be putting 1 point into Charisma and 1 point into Strength, in order to just even those out. I think we'll still go Strength with her at this point. I'd like to get the extra ability to carry things and not get as tired when we're moving around on the map. For skills, we're going to put a point in Trickery because she's still by far our best Trickery, and we're going to put a point in Perception. For Hex, we are going to take Chant, which is the Shaman's version of Cackle. And then, now that we have this, we should be able to extend Fortune. What we will be doing next level is hopping over to Cleric. And again, it's going to be quite a while before we get the ability to have her mount anything. But we'll probably take Boon Companion right away at level 5. We might wait till level 7, because she's not going to have the Cleric pet until level 4 of Cleric. So she won't even have the Cleric pet until 8. And that's her done with her level. For Sela, she has her 1 level to pick up her pet, and we're kind of going to go most of the rest of the way in Paladin here. Primarily, we can't see it yet, but after the Divine Bond piece starts showing up after we get to level 5 in Paladin, we'll kind of talk about why we need at least 15 levels in order to get our animal spell resistance. So this level for her, she gets Divine Health, which makes her immune to diseases. She gets a Mercy, which we're going to take Fatigued, so we can clear Fatigue with her Lay on Hands if we need to. And she gets an Aura of Courage, which makes her immune to Fear, and gives everyone else a bonus to their saving throws against Fear. And she actually, we're gonna put a point into Charisma. The reason that we're doing that is the Smite Evil that she has functions off her Charisma. So it actually assists in making things easier to hit as long as we have our Smite up on them. I think long term we'll definitely be putting a point. Well, we'll put a point into Wisdom and Dexterity. We've already talked about why I'm going to do that, but I would always suggest that you do put a point into Charisma for her first, even if you're going to put the remainder of the 4 points directly into Strength. For her, we're going to keep powering up Mobility. After we mount with her, we're not even going to have her wearing armor, so she'll get the full mobility benefit at that time. We're going to go with Religion and Persuasion, because those are kind of the ones we've picked out for her. We're going to grab Fatigued for her Mercy. When you're looking at these Mercies, also I guess we should say this real quick, these are based on Lay on Hands. What I would do is I would not look for things like Sickened or Shaken, where you actually, if you get those conditions while you're in combat, you can't trigger a lay on hands. So in combat, you can't even clear those off yourself. What I would look for are the ones that you can clear off yourself by using a lay on hands on yourself if you acquire them. And we'll grab Lan here real quick. So Lan is one more level in order to get Wisdom in Zen Archer here, and then we'll be moving back to Divine Hound for the remainder. And we're going to take Wisdom because that's actually going to help him hit better. We'll kind of take what we've been taking here, Perception, Athletics, and Stealth. And we now get Point Blank Master. Where's our longbow here? And so now if we're in melee with someone shooting at them, we don't protect, or we don't provoke attacks of opportunity any longer. We also get fast movement, which is nice, but it's really not that important. It'll just help us get into the 30 feet range that we need for regular point blank. And we did get Keepul, which gets us the ability of extra attack, which is a very nice ability and will continue to function throughout the remainder of the game. It just adds an extra attack to our round of attacks for one round of attack. So for Woljif here, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking one more level in Eldritch Scoundrel, and after this level we'll kind of look into what other options we may have. I am not a big fan of the way that the Eldritch Scoundrel levels up. I really dislike that there are so many levels in between sneak attack bonuses, and if we would level all the way up to 19, we would only have 6 sneak attack dice. That's not great. If we're going to keep him as a melee character, probably look into something like Vivisectionist. Vivisectionist is just great for melee characters in general, getting the benefits from the mutagen while also getting sneak attack dice, and getting sneak attack dice obviously much more regularly than we would with the Eldritch Scoundrel. We would be able to level up to 16, which I don't know if I would take the 16th level. It does give us the 6th level spells of the Alchemist. However, it's not... I would look into this as to whether we would take one other split into another class, or whether we would just sit at level 5 with the 8 sneak attacks that we have received. And we do get a significant number of medical discoveries as we level up there as well. If we're going to go range with him, which technically I think I would like to do, even though it wastes his first two feats, I would probably look at something along the lines of the Eldritch Archer and Magus combination with the what are they called? The Eldritch Knight here. That gets you access to armor, although I don't know that I would wear armor with him. Or you could also go for the Arcane Trickster with the Magus, and that would get you access to further sneak attacks. And to me, that would be better than the Scoundrel as a base class anyways. However, if you're going to keep a melee, like I said, I don't like the Arcane Trickster for a melee character because it's focusing a lot on ray spell attacks in order to get your damage out, and you don't want to be doing those when you're in melee with people. Unless you have levels in Magus where you're doing touch attacks to put them on your weapons, etc., etc. So anyways, this level, we are going to take one more level of Eldritch Scoundrel, and then next level we'll kind of look at, what we're thinking of trying to do with Woljif long term. Again, Woljif isn't really a character that I find particularly interesting, so I'm probably not going to be doing a lot with him over the course of this game. In this case, we're going to take 1 point in Constitution, and then the remainder of our points we'll be putting into Dexterity. I believe optimally what you would probably do is take your 4 points in Dexterity up front and the 1 point in Constitution later in the game. However, it would just bug me to look at our odd number of Constitution every time we level up. So for him, we're going to grab these 3 and these 2. Spells. So for Woljif, as currently he is a melee character, we kind of want to look at him in that fashion when we're picking up spells for this level. Again, long term, the spells at this level won't really make a big difference, but things like Mirror Image here will be very beneficial for him as melee. And then I actually really like Sense Vitals. Even if you're in melee, what this does is this just gives you extra sneak attack dice. It's a very short spell. Obviously, 1 round per level isn't great. Right now, I believe we have 4 caster levels, so it would be for 4 rounds. And you actually would want to cast this as you're approaching combat. So the first time you get into combat with it, you're probably only going to get 1 attack, and then you'll get your normal attacks after that. But when you think about it, you've got 1d6 for every 3 caster levels beyond the 3rd. So right now, it's just 1d6, but as we get further caster levels, we can add an additional 5d6 sneak attacks to any and all attacks that we take during the course of a round. And because we're dual wielding, obviously that adds quite a bit. If we max out our dual wielding with 4 main hand attacks and 3 offhand attacks, we're looking at 35d6 potential extra damage from this spell per round. All right, let's go. So the only other thing that we're going to run into here on our way to the Wine Cellar would be random attacks. And as we've seen with most of the random attacks, they really don't take a lot of thought. You can just kind of steamroll over them. We're not going to bother healing people right now. We're just going to kind of continue on our way. We'll go ahead and stop at the Hand Cultists because unlikely that we'll be going this way again ever. And I believe there's one more place that we'll find on our way here. We're going to skip that one and go to the cellar, the Lost Bag here. We'll get the Lost Bag on the way back from the cellar to the Blackwood Library. And we're all fatigued. So technically we could do lay on hands on everybody and get that taken care of. But we have a bunch of spells that we need to look into picking up here. I don't know if we technically have any. I guess we do have 4 spells in our Oracle. Oh yeah, we hadn't rested since we took a level Oracle. Okay, that's why we hadn't seen those yet. Camellia will have an extra one at level 1. We can't technically put Enlarged Person into these slots down here, otherwise I probably would be adding more Enlarged Person. What I'm going to do for ease is I'm actually just going to make this row a Cure Light Wounds row and this row a Bless row. And we've got level 2 spells. So the only thing that can go in Spirit Magic slots is Bold Strength. I think we can put Bold Strength down here too. I'm not going to put Bold Strength down there because I don't really technically want it. What I'm going to put in there, I'm going to put Bark Skin on our lower level, and I think I'm just going to put Cure Moderate Wounds in the upper level here. So that'll keep most of her casting out of combat still. It'll either be after combat, unless we run into some serious situations where we need to try to heal in combat, which is, if you're healing with these types of spells, it's usually not a good thing. And then obviously Bark Skin and Bull Strength will be cast out of combat before we get into combat. Bark Skin is a longer duration, so you can cast Bark Skin on animals, and in this case I'm going to be casting it on our elephant, kind of right away as soon as we get into a map. And if it expires, we do have some potions of Bark Skin if we really need it, or she technically has her bond object, so she could get it back at that point. Land doesn't have to pick. Oh, I want another Grease down here, and I want another Mage Armor. These are really the only spells I'm going to get with him for first level. Second level, we'll actually just take one of these and one of these. Even though probably 2 Sense Vitals would be best for the fight that's coming up in this area here, but Mirror Image is just nice to have, and this will be more of a long term, I could use this on anywhere. Ember is spontaneous casting, so she doesn't need to pick. And I forgot to level up our pets, so the dog will get a level up here. For the first level on all the pets, I would suggest getting an additional intelligence so that you're up to 3. I guess unless you pick the centipede, I think the centipede doesn't have intelligence, so you can never get certain feats on the centipede. But for most of the teamwork feats, 3 intelligence is required, and for things like improved unarmed strike, intelligence 3 is required. We'll get him extra mobility and extra perception, and that's all he gets for this level. I believe that the elephant will also get a level after we rest here. I'm not sure why it's not showing up yet, but I think it will show up after we rest, or maybe after we go into the wine cellar. So, I don't want to rest for this long. I would like to rest for a shorter amount of time. Yeah, we haven't bought that yet, so we can't create potions, but these would be the potions that we could potentially create if we had purchased this. Again, I'm primarily going to want to focus on Mage Armor, and that's because as we get up in levels, we'll have the mythic ability Mage Armor, which long term, drinking a potion of Mage Armor is equivalent to equipping full plate mail +5. It's really going to be the best source of armor that you're going to see in the game. So let's see here. We'll put us doing perception here. And that'll solve our night watch. Our night watch will be 100%. I don't really think we need to cook anything. I guess I could have left us down here for cooking, but I don't really think we need to do that at this time. This is kind of the best layout we're going to get for this rest.
Scoot over. I want my scaly side facing the fire. My lizard side always gets colder than my warm-blooded side. Go figure.
Alright, we succeeded everything. Sometimes, a long-awaited rest does not bring the desired relief. What comes is a heavy, clinging sleep on the edge of wakefulness, where consciousness seems poised between reality and oblivion. The possible reasons for such disturbed slumber are myriad. Strained nerves, perhaps, or lingering reaction to trauma. We emerge from the oblivion of our leaden sleep like a drowned woman dragging herself up from the depths of a swamp. The wound on our chest is burning like someone pressed an invisible brand to it. The wound has closed again, but the bloodstain on our shirt betrays its presence beneath. There's no time to investigate the cause behind our malaise. A trying day lies ahead. But how will we be up to the challenge if our thoughts are so muddled and our entire body aches like after a day's toil? Nonsense. I'll douse myself in some cold water and I'll be good as new. As if a veteran adventurer could be frightened by a bad dream, a splash of cold water enlivens our senses and the weariness abates, retreating to the depths of our subconscious, but leaving the path open to return the next time we seek refuge in sleep. We recall that we slept peacefully in Defender's Heart. Perhaps one of the priests in Defender's Heart can explain what has happened. We've picked up another quest because we weren't able to sleep very well. I wonder if we can... Oh no, we can't access the bars from out here. I was going to try to get rid of the filth fever that we got from those rats. But we can do that later. So, we're just going in now to the wine cellar. And we can see that there's some whites in here. So what we're actually going to do right away is, well, first I guess we're going to take a look at who has the highest religion. I think it's going to be Sela at 8. She nudges out everybody. So, Sela is the one that's going to try to get rid of our filth fever here real quick. As a first step. Filth fever gone. Filth fever still on Woljif. And then we're gonna do some buffing here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and cast her small heals just to try to fill in the damage that people have taken here. I think we'll do her. And I'm actually gonna clear her bar up a little bit here. I'm gonna move the heals over to this section, Here's Chant. I think I want Chant right next to Fortune here. We'll put Big Person over here. Bless can stay right there. And we're going to cast this on our elephant. Let's see, any buffs that we want to put out with her? Not really. We want to drink this.
You can trust me.
We already looked at her.
Ready for the worst.
These I think are... Oh no, these are a minute, so we'll just cast that right now. Woljif will have to fix the bar up a little bit here, but the important thing that he's going to do is he's going to cast Mage Armor on our elephant. I'm actually going to have him just cast it on the dog too. Why not? So our elephant currently is up to 31 armor class, which is very solid for this point in the game. Also, these whites do have the ability to drain levels, but that is much less impactful on the pets because they're going to get their levels back after we sleep regardless. Or they're eventually going to die, and when they resurrect when we sleep, they'll have their levels back. As far as I know, as that
A
works.
bright future awaits us.
We should prepare.
Let's see, are we
Open
kind of
heart
good on
to
everything
me.
here? Oh, we
What's
should
on
have
your
a
mind?
should have a bless,
I'll watch your back.
and actually we should make us big. And we'll make us stronger.
Our duty calls.
So right now we should be doing pretty serious, or we should be able to hit every time we're rolling. We do have a plus 10. We'll be getting near this strength unbuffed by the end of the game. I think we'll be 28, not 30 though.
I heed the voice of
Meditate
the
on your
spirits.
mistakes.
Don't mind
Make you
me.
feel better.
All right, I think that's it. That's good enough. We're gonna go right over here.
They will break against our resolve.
Oh, I was thinking I could make that without starting the fight, but I guess I can't. We are going to toss a grease down right here. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to put everyone on hold first. And then we're going to toss a grease down. The elephant is going right here. Sela, I want you back here. Us back here. Lan, you can go ahead and use your judgment. I'm not going to have her put luck on somebody yet. Actually, no, we will. We'll put luck on us. Then we'll get to roll 2 dice every time we try to hit something. So we should definitely be hitting, and we should definitely be killing a lot of these things. Woljif, we're going to go ahead and use our Sense Vitals. No, I'm sorry. He was using Grease. We want Grease first. Ember, just go ahead and shoot.
Surrender or else.
And Dog, go ahead and go over here. We just want to make sure those guys get into contact there. And now we can have everybody else kind of go in and
Aim carefully.
get to grasps. Sela, where's Sela? Sela's over here.
The light take you!
Woljif hasn't finished his Grease. He's probably... So, optimally, I would have started the fight with Grease, but I guess I wandered a little bit too close to him to begin with. I don't think it's even going to get down before those guys are through it. Oh, it did! We made it just in time. So now we're going to have the Dog go in. So the only people... These 3 should never change their target from Snuffles. Unless he dies. The only person we're going to be concerned about is this one back here. So I'm actually going to have Lan shoot him.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
And we're going to go 4 to give him an extra attack. And then Woljif, we're going to go ahead and put Sense Vitals on, so he's going to do more damage when he gets in there. He's not going to get in there for another round, though. Well, actually, I guess we could do this and then click Sense Vitals. So he'll have a target that he'll go after. Now we'll just take him off hold. I was putting people on hold because I don't want him to run into Grease and get knocked down. I don't know if hold would cause her to not use her move action on Chant either, so I should probably turn that off. So they are immune to fear because they are undead. No one's really taken any damage here. Woljif's moving in with Sense Vitals. We've got this guy still on the ground. Nothing different to do. You can see we're putting out some pretty serious damage at this point. Alright, that guy got up, so I'm actually going to have the elephant target him directly to make sure that he will target the elephant as well. This guy's already targeting the elephant. We're not going to go out of his threatened area, so he'll continue to target the elephant. And no one's even hit the elephant yet. I think also what we'll do is we'll just take everybody off hold at this point. Let me make sure that that didn't screw up the elephant. Nope, he's still going that direction. We're kind of running around because we're big, we're biting over the heads of everybody else. I'm going to drop Woljif over this thing over here real quick. And we need to get rid of grease. A degreaser. And that's really it for the Potaxian Wine Cellar.
I'm gone.
So we're just going to go pick up our well-earned loot here. Wander into the back of the cellar.
What do we have here?
So neither of those weapons we'll really be using, but, you know, money is money. It's nice to pick up magical stuff. Alright, now we'll head back down this way for this lost bag. And over to the Blackwing Library. And I think that's about all the time we have for today's episode. What we'll do is next episode we'll pick up with what's going to happen in the library here, and then we'll go forward from there. Thank you so much for spending the time with me to watch this today, and we'll see you next time.